Did you know that 75% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck? 75%. 3/4 of Americans would be bankrupted by a $1,000 emergency at home or with their car, or a 1-week interruption in their paycheck. On this channel, we normally talk about finding a job. Today, we're going to talk about some really important things you need to do once you get one. It doesn't really matter if you're working or you're collecting unemployment. The reason you're broke between paychecks is not because of the amount of money you're making, but because of how you're allocating that money. I'm going to show you how to properly set up your direct deposit so that every dollar has a job. This will help you stay out of that paycheck to paycheck trap. Darren D here, welcome back to the Ramblin' Recruiter. This video is brought to you by my Patreon supporters. If you're interested in becoming a part of the Ramblin' Recruiter revolution, click the link below in the description. Even a single dollar really helps keep the content flowing. Most people add 1, maybe 2 bank accounts to their direct deposit. All of their paycheck or all of their unemployment benefits are going into one account, and that's the account that they not only pay their bills from, but that they also live from, swiping the debit card as they go. Lunch in the cafeteria? Swipe the debit card. Need some gas? Swipe the debit card. Financially, you are shooting yourself in the foot here. You know as well as I do that you're not keeping track of all the money you spend on that debit card. The banks love it when you use your debit card because they know you're going to overspend. That means more overdraft fees for them when the checks that you wrote to pay your bills actually come through. I know because for a long time this was me. I doubled my income over the course of 10 years and yet was still broke in between paychecks every single time. I couldn't figure out how much more money did I really need to make before I would stop being broke. And the truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter how much money you make. You could make $50,000 or $150,000. If you are putting all of your money into one account and paying your bills and swiping your debit card from that account, you are going to overspend and be broke in between paychecks every time. Here's a bonus tip for you. Take the debit cards out of your wallet, lock them in a drawer. Let's say you need $100 for gas and groceries, withdraw $100 cash and not a penny more. Every single dollar needs a job, and you need a lot more than 1 or maybe 2 bank accounts. To allocate every dollar that you make to a specific expense, you actually need 7 bank accounts. 7. And I recommend that you open them at a number of different banks. Don't put them all in the same place. Check your junk mail. A lot of times you'll see banks offering you a $300 to $500 bonus credit just for opening a new account and setting up a direct deposit. Hey, there's nothing wrong with free money. Take what you can get. And if you have 3 different banks offering you $500 in bonus for opening accounts and setting up a direct deposit, why wouldn't you do it? All right, so let's start setting up those accounts. Account number 1 is a checking account. You should have a checkbook and a debit card for this account. And this is your primary household bills account. You should be depositing 60% of your take-home pay in this account. You could increase it to 65%, but you'd have to take that 5% away from someplace else. Now, this is the account that you pay your rent or your mortgage from, your car payment, your car insurance, and various other household bills. Don't use this account for day-to-day expenses. This is strictly your bill pay account. So the obvious question you're going to ask is, what if that's not enough to cover my expenses? Well, then quite frankly, if 65% of what you're earning after taxes is not enough to cover your day-to-day expenses, you need to start trimming some expenses. You're actually living above your means. Account number 2 should be a savings account. It could either be a passbook savings, which very rarely exists anymore, or a debit card savings account. And this is what I like to call the shallow savings. This is your rainy day fund. This is cash that you have in an account, easily accessible, in the event of some kind of unforeseen circumstance. Like the brakes on your car go, you've got money in this savings account to cover it. Your hot water heater blows, you've got it covered. Any kind of unexpected expense that would pop up, and if you had to pay for it out of your main household account, it would set you back. 10% of your post-tax income should be going into this account. Remember those $1,000 emergencies I was talking about at the beginning of the video? This is where you pay for them from. Account number 3 could be a savings account. It could be a money market account, or it could actually be a brokerage account as well. And this is what I like to call your deep savings account. This is money that you're putting away for the long term. Think retirement. This is money that you are not going to touch no matter what happens. Unless something absolutely catastrophic, like a terrible medical situation, or you're buying a home and you need to come up with a down payment. Those are the only reasons that you should really consider tapping into this account. Now, because you're planning on saving it for the long term, you don't have to keep it liquid. It doesn't have to be cash. You could open a brokerage account, or you could go on an app like Robinhood or something like that and invest in very plain vanilla blue chip stocks or exchange traded funds and just keep reinvesting the dividends over and over and over again. And this should be 5 to 10% of your take home pay. If you're able to get by on 60% in your main household account, you definitely want this to be 10%. If you have to go up to 65, well, that's where that other 5% comes from. I also want to be really clear about one thing. This is totally separate from any 401k or IRA that's offered by your employer or that you're doing yourself if you're self-employed. You do want to continue to contribute to an IRA or 401k. This is totally separate. Account number 4, and this could be a checking account with a debit card. In fact, I do recommend that it is a checking account with a debit card, is your healthcare account. Now again, very specifically, I want you to understand this is separate from any health savings account that your employer is offering. Health savings accounts are a great benefit. Make sure you're taking full advantage of them. But this is additional money that you are setting aside specifically for the purposes of medical expenses. Now, if you're a single individual and you're relatively young, you don't have any health problems, you maybe go to the doctor once a year, you don't have to deposit a ton of money in this account. But if you have a family, you have children who go to the doctor a lot, who need their vaccinations, who have to go for sports physicals, you name it, yeah, then you're gonna wanna start putting a little bit more money into this account. I would recommend 5 to 10% depending on your situation. Copays add up, prescriptions add up, and if you have to take that money out of your primary household account, you are setting yourself back every single time you do that. The way to get ahead is to make sure every dollar has a job. Account number 5 could be savings, it could be checking, it could be an online account, or it could be with a retail bank. That's really up to you. But this is a 10% of your take-home pay account, and I call this the holiday, birthday, anniversary account. This is where you can save money for Christmas or whatever winter holiday you happen to celebrate. This is where you can save money for birthdays, anniversaries, any special gifts that you want to get for your partner, presents for your children, other members of your family for the holidays. This is where you want to put some money aside for that. Trust me, come December when you have a laundry list of gifts you have to get for everybody and not a heck of a lot of funds to do it with, you'll be happy that you have this account set up. Account number 6, checking account with or without a debit card, it doesn't really matter. This is the fun account. This is where you're saving money for entertainment, going out to dinner at nice restaurants, saving for a vacation, things like that. You want to put 5% of your take-home pay in this account, and when you decide, hey, let's go out for dinner tonight, this is where you're going to pay for it from. Remember, running up a credit card or drawing down from that main household account for things like takeout, dining out, or vacations is only going to set you back and put you on a course where you end up short when it comes time to pay the bills. Account number 7 should be about 5% of your take-home pay, and this is the Honey Can I account. This is the account where you save up for major purchases. It's a catch-all for everything else that isn't covered by another account. Want to pick up a new pair of Air Jordans? You got money in the Honey Can I account? Yes, you can. No money in the Honey Can I account? No new Air Jordans for you. Now, depending on how you've set everything up, you should have 5% left over. If that is the case, apply it to your shallow savings account. I can't stress enough how important it is to have rainy day funds on hand, because you never know when something's going to go wrong. If you happen to be a homeowner, you do know what I'm talking about, right? Things never happen all by themselves. Everything happens in a snowball effect. Just last year, we had our hot water heater blow, had it fixed, had the ceiling fixed because our hot water heater's on the 2nd floor, and of course the water dripped down through the ceiling. So we had the ceiling fixed, and then 2 weeks later it blew again, and this time it had to be replaced. Having that rainy day fund makes all the difference, because if I didn't have that money on hand, guess what? I would have missed a mortgage payment. Extra bonus tip for you. Get a credit card with a minimum $2,000 limit on it, stick it in a drawer, and don't carry it around with you. Use it once a month, maybe buy something from Amazon or something small once a month, something that you can pay in full every month. Doing so, number one, not only gives you additional cushion in case of an emergency. That $2,000 limit on that credit card can be used to cover an emergency you might have with your home or your car, but also it's helping you build a positive credit profile, which can be very difficult, especially if you're a young person and you don't have any credit history. You want to go buy a car and they're going to say, well, there's nothing wrong with your credit, but we still can't get you a loan anyway because you have no credit history. Credit cards require self-discipline. It's very easy to run them up very quickly. So my advice to you is don't carry it around with you, but have it. Just a quick note, this video isn't sponsored by anybody. I'm recommending Capital One because I use them. I'm recommending American Express because I use them, not because they're actually paying me any money. I would love to be sponsored by Capital One. If Capital One, if you're watching and you ever do want to sponsor me, the answer is yes. Before you can even worry about setting up a direct deposit, you have to find a job. So click into this playlist over here. That will give you some terrific tips on how to land the job of your dreams. The video that's over here, that's the one that YouTube thinks you'll like the best, and they're pretty much always right about that, so check it out. Enjoy the rest of your job-seeking day. Stay classy, YouTube. Peace!